He said insults and thuggery have never been part of democracy and that people should be given the free will to make their choices.
As part of his working tour of the Western region, the president was honored with a Deborah of the chiefs and people from the various traditional areas. At Teleku Bokazo in the Lembele district, the Omaheni of the Eastern Nzima traditional area, Awulai Amehe Panyili, commended the president for the numerous initiatives aimed at alleviating the plight of Ghanaians. He, however, called on the president to ensure there is peace before, during and after the general elections. The Minister for Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwesiamu Akwata, said, in line with the year of roads agenda, various roads in the district have been awarded on contract. The contractor working on most of the routes in the Nzima area, Memphis Metropolitan, gave the assurance that the project will be completed on schedule. President Akufo-Addo was happy that it is during his administration that a road from Isiama to Nglofo, the birthplace of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, is being constructed.
Ebolidi is here to me who they actually I am. Mina me babe bibia e babe se me nu na. E me pesa Ghana for edwe wo me ho. Se me mbie ma no keke. Me kasa me babe ya na ye. Eno ana me pesa Ghana for. Na Ghana for enya gidie e wo me mu. Se me mama be dada o man e be dia tro man. And the cat is some mean to me yet. And they met to me, I and American, the council, me yeah.
The president later cut the sword for work to begin on various routes in the district. At Bamianko in the Nzima East District, the Akango Dwale and Ijila Jura Community Mining Program was launched. The Minister for Mines and Natural Resources, Mr. Kwekwasima Treme, said the aim is to do away with illegal mining activities and ensure sustainable mining and also create jobs for the people and boost the local economy.
Now, community mining on a sip chepa and say, yeah, there no abba. Now, yeah, the Yigalam say no. Yeah, you say yes, you say a quiet, any yensa singing no, yeah, no free ho. Yet near ye, apesicano, ye the Bia Boabai, the yes, ye be at to your home and 3 months or cha. All about the 2 hours as a chronoa, no more so at the dear free so. Nanano.
At Nsiayem in the Takwan Nsiayem municipality, the president cut the sword for work to begin on a new senior high school and later addressed the chiefs and people at Adeba. He promised to address the challenges of accommodation for both teachers and students under the E-Block school concept. He later continued to Aboso in the Prestia Uni Valley district for the inauguration of a community mining program. He also cut the sword for the construction of a mineral processing plant.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, on Tuesday gave a detailed inventory of the government infrastructure projects in the last 3.5 years. By his tally, the Akufo-Addo-led government has initiated 17,334 projects across the board in all sectors. 8,746 of these projects have been completed, and 8,746 of them are still being worked on. He said, going by the data, no government in the Fourth Republic can match the Akufo-Addo government's extensive venture in its first term in office.
It is the government's 8th policy and results fair since 2017. This is a forum by the various ministries to present to Ghanaians the projects and initiatives undertaken since the assumption of power. Due to COVID-19, the 8th edition was held with limited numbers, with thousands observing virtually. The 2020 forum was addressed by the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, with particular attention on infrastructure projects in the last 3 years. Dr. Bawumia said data gathered by the government shows that every part of the country has enjoyed substantial infrastructure in the last 3.5 years.
Since 2017, we have initiated 17,334 infrastructure projects in this country. Of these, we have completed 8,746, and there's 8,588 ongoing. And you see them allocated from agriculture, education, infrastructure, energy, health infrastructure, housing, industrial infrastructure, market infrastructure, railway infrastructure, road safety and security, water and sanitation, youth and development.
Dr. Bawumia said all these projects are being undertaken with value for money in mind.
Cost of the Tema, Tamale, Pokwasi, and Obechebi Lamte interchanges is $289 million. 4 interchanges. Together, $289 million. While the cost of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange was contracted at $260 million. I'll just leave that for you to ponder.
He said the government has developed an online portal that details all infrastructure development projects, which is evidence of work done by the government.
As the name implies, Delivery Tracker is a portal where you can track the status of delivery of government promises and also infrastructure projects. It will enhance transparency and accountability in governance. It will also enable government to monitor all infrastructure projects to ensure that uncompleted projects are prioritized in the process of capital budgeting.
To the Vice President, more must be done, but feats achieved so far demonstrates that government remains committed to its contracts with the people, which is why the government must be retained in power in the December polls to continue with the development projects.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says the government is making strides with the One District, One Factory and One Village, One Dam initiatives. Dr. Bawumia said so far 28 new factories are standing, with 48 existing ones rehabilitated and operational. Under the One Village, One Dam initiative, 375 small earth dams have been constructed in the 5 regions of the north.
One District, One Factory and One Village, One Dam are 2 of the priority projects introduced by the NPP government in 2017. While the focus of the One District, One Factory is industrialization, the One Village, One Dam is to allow for year-round farming in the 5 regions of the north. And this is to support Ghana's quest to achieve food sufficiency. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says so far, 76 factories have been completed and are operational under the industrialization initiative.
Under the One District, One Factory program, 183 companies are currently benefiting from the One District, One Factory initiative, out of which 61 are existing companies. The 1D1F doesn't only deal with new companies. If you are an existing company and you need a capital injection to expand, you can benefit from the incentives of the 1D1F. So don't say that, oh, I know this company is already been in existence, so it cannot count. No, if it has come for support through the 1D1F, it will be counted. To date, 48 of the existing company projects have been completed and are operational. Of the 122 new companies, 28 are completed, whilst 31 are at various stages of completion.
Under the One Village, One Dam project, Dr. Bawumia said 435 small earth dams have been rolled out of which 375 have been completed and in use by farmers in the respective villages in the 5 regions of the north.
Each small earth dam contains 30,000 cubic meters of water when full, and this is enough to survive a greater part of the average dry season in any year. When you hear some of our opponents saying that these dams cannot be used for irrigation, you wonder what they mean. Across the world and many regions in Ghana, farmers do irrigation using different systems. The amount of irrigable land the One Village, One Dam policy provides is over 12,000 hectares, which is almost equal to the total public irrigable land currently available in Ghana.
Dr. Bawumia said the Palugu multipurpose dam will also help to transform agriculture in the country.
Upon the completion of the Palugu Dam, it will be the single largest public investment in irrigation since independence, and also the single largest infrastructure investment in the northern regions of Ghana since independence.
He said more than 7,000 hectares of land are under development for various irrigation systems in the 5 regions of the north.
Still on the policy and results fair, Dr. Bawumia narrowed the lens on work done in the roads sector. He says one major challenge that confronted the NPP government when they took office in 2017 was the deplorable nature of the roads countrywide. But through effective management of the country's resources in the last 3 years, and in particular 2020, which is the year of roads, the government has achieved immeasurably in the roads and transport sectors.
Dr. Bawumia said 1,927 road projects were undertaken in the last 3 years. 1,307 of these have been completed, with 620 still ongoing across the country. He said the road construction work is evidenced in every district of the country.
If you look at the road projects, the road sector, we are implementing 1,927 road projects. We've completed 1,307 and 620 are ongoing. If you look at bridges, you see that the Bailey steel and concrete bridges, we have 79 that we are constructing. We have completed 46 bridges, and you saw the ones in Garou and so on being shown in the video. We are also ongoing, 33 bridges are ongoing. 44 cocoa roads are ongoing, 216 feeder roads, completed 138. Footbridges, 135 are being constructed. We've completed 117 of footbridges.
He also spoke on government's efforts in the railway sector, which he says will transform the country's transportation system.
Major transformation is taking place in the railway sector. We've completed the rehabilitation of the Accra-Tema railway line, which is 30 kilometers. The Chimota in Sawam, another 33 kilometers. And the Kojokrom-Takwa, which is a 56 kilometer. And these are narrow gauge lines. And we have done that. We've begun the construction of a new standard gauge western line, which is Takoradi to Kumasi. Then we have a railway training school in Sekondi, which is complete, and this is going to be the basis for what we want to build, which is the Railway University in Sekondi. The Tema Mpakadan railway line is 97 kilometers, is ongoing, and approximately 56 kilometers of the track lane has been completed.
Dr. Bawumia also dwelt on some of the government's projects in the fisheries sector.
The Takoradi Port Expansion Project is progressing steadily. A multi-purpose container terminal commenced in 2019, and a dry bulk jetty is almost complete. The construction of the Jamestown Harbour has also started. And we are also constructing 10 fish landing sites: Axim, Dix Cove, Senyabreku, Gomoafete, Mori, Mumford, Teshi, Winneba, Elmina, and Kita. And these are all ongoing.
One area of concern that the Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia put a spotlight on was claims that the government has abandoned all ongoing projects under the previous administration. Dr. Bawumia mentioned the number of ventures inherited by the Akufo-Addo government. He said some had been completed, while others are still under construction in the health, education and roads sectors.
In addition to what we have done, that we have shown you in the data, in addition to that, we have also completed several health projects that we inherited from the previous government. Out of 30 infrastructure projects that we inherited from the previous government in the health sector, we have completed 16 of them. including 10 polyclinics, 2 district hospitals. There's also ongoing construction of another 9 district hospitals. So if you look at what we have completed, the polyclinic at Bisiasi, at Gomoa, Daurompong, Ekumfi, Noakwa, Biruwa, a polyclinic at Esi Sunkwa, Bimpong Eja, and then Gomoa as well, Jamera, Mankrong, Akomfodi, and all of these have been completed. We completed the ongoing upgrading of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. We completed the ongoing construction of the offices of the Ministry for Health and Regulatory Bodies. We completed the Ga East Municipal Hospital. When we came, it wasn't quite completed. We completed it, and so on. So we have the data to show very clearly, and therefore it cannot be the case that we abandon projects that we inherited. It's in our interest to complete them.
Away from the government's town hall meeting, the new Patriotic Party has inaugurated the party's Ashanti Regional Campaign Committee in Kumasi, urging party sympathizers and loyalists to be actively involved in the campaign to retain the party in government to continue to improve the lives of Ghanaians.
The inauguration of the regional campaign is in line with the MPP's preparedness to retain power. The Ashanti region has been the MPP's major stronghold and one of the regions with the largest voter populations. In the just ended voter registration exercise, over 3 million voters were registered in the region. The Regional Campaign Committee is tasked to ensure that the party takes all the 47 parliamentary seats in the region in the 2020 elections. The committee has the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the MPP as its chairman and the Regional Secretary as secretary. Other members include regional executives of the party and the regional minister, Mr. Simon Osei-Mensah, former regional ministers and chairman. The party's general secretary, Mr. John Bwedu, and a member of the committee, Justin Kodia, were optimistic that the target set by the party to obtain 90% of votes in the region would be achieved.
Constituency as a whole, even electoral area as a whole, polling station it's and a campaign committee.
We have several messages for the youth, and we are very sure that come December 7, people in Ashanti region will vote overwhelmingly for Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the MPP.
The Ashanti Regional Chairman, Mr. Benadenchibu-Esiakum, in his remarks indicated that the party is determined to win all seats in the region.
44 seats, new seats, 44 seats, no, and a 47 seats now.
The executives called for all hands on deck approach to meet the target.
Farmer-based organizations are receiving training in Accra to strengthen their opportunities in Ghana's agricultural value chain. The program is a collaboration between the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and Technical Education Development for modernized agriculture in Ghana.
For Component 2 of the training program, 160 selected heads of various farmer-based organizations across the country will benefit. The trainer of trainers will focus on building the capacity of farmer-based organizations and other actors in the area of organizational and value chain development and how to position themselves to take advantage of the quest to modernize. At a ceremony in Accra to begin the first phase of the 3-tier training program using the trainer of trainers approach, participants will go through value chain and markets, agricultural marketing, skills for managing relationships, and business planning for the farmer-based organizations. The project manager of TEDMARC, the consortium working with MOFA, will provide technical support for participants to train their respective FBOs and value chain actor group members in Ghana's 16 regions.
The project realized that extension agents who were from the agriculture colleges were more focused on the practical and neglecting the agribusiness component and the term entrepreneurship. So now the curriculum has been reviewed to make it more entrepreneurial and agribusiness focused, so that our farmers will not only be minded of the production, but will also be looking at getting the needed support from extension agents.
The acting chief director of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Mr. Robert Patrick Ankobia, spoke about the need to use all the acquired knowledge to help achieve the aim of modernizing agriculture.
We intend that by building your capacity, we'll be able to position you to contribute meaningfully to the modernization agenda that we have for agriculture. And so I'd like to urge all of you who are present here and privileged to be part of this program to make the most of the opportunity.
The TEDMAC project is funded by Global Affairs Canada under the Modernizing Agriculture in Ghana program. It has successfully trained more than 140 tutors from 5 agricultural colleges in Ghana and over 6,500 agricultural extension agents nationwide. Some of the participants spoke to GBC News.
Training in the ANGT, HSA, a boying, a mamana, omufi, omunyejumaye. Bibia no ye kan hu bom mane ye baako enti ma sa ye nkabom no e ma enso an wadwuan so ba.
By close of this session, I will be well equipped to go out there and share the good news about how to make farmer-based organizations become relevant and perform their role in the value chain, so that agriculture will become a meaningful business to embark upon.
Still on Agric, watermelon farmers in the Wa West district of the Upper West say they are feeling the impact of the coronavirus on their sales. The farmers say the price of watermelon per truck has dropped from 10,000 Ghana cedis last year to 5,000 Ghana cedis this year due to the pandemic. My colleague Swala Abdul Wahab has visited Pala and Gusii and has this report on the plight of the farmers and what may be done to ameliorate the problem.
Many farmers in Wa West district cultivate watermelon as a source of livelihood. But this year may go down in the history as one of the worst in their production years. Price per truck has gone down from 10,000 Ghana cedis last year to 5,000 Ghana cedis this year due to the coronavirus.
This is a 14-acre watermelon farm. I have harvested only 3 truckloads of watermelon this year. The rest, which is about 2 trucks, is going waste because there is no market. Last year, we sold a truck for 10,000 Ghana cedis. But this year, a truck is going for 5,000 cedis or less.
The market this year as compared to last year is very poor, very, very bad. It never went in the favor of the farmer because of this coronavirus. Last year, with the truck, we used to load it at a cost of 12,000 Ghana cedis. This year, you can get a truck at 5,500, 6,000 Ghana cedis, and some are even selling at 4,500 Ghana cedis.
Mr. Pujan Anzugri says he is not sure if he will get market for the rest of his produce on his farm.
This is suitable for consumption as we speak now, but in the next 1 week or 2, they will become like this. And that means the farmer is going to lose huge amount of money.
The Wa West District Directorate of Agriculture, however, says it is aware of the problem and is linking farmers to buyers in the south for better prices.
Because of this COVID issue, most market people have suspended their businesses. Some people don't even come out to buy. We as MOFA are supposed to be linking them to the market source. And we have started doing it. We have had the problem and we started doing that.
But an agribusiness consultant thinks government needs to improve on the road infrastructure and provide a factory to process the excess watermelon.
If you look at the road network to most farming communities, it is not in the best of shapes. So it doesn't allow for private sector and other people who may want to help the situation to come in. They may also have to improve on the concept of the one district, one factory. If such factories were there, it could also help by processing, what farmers have produced.
Developing the watermelon industry in West District will enhance the income of the farmers and create more jobs for the youth who run to down south for similar or non-existing jobs. For GBC, Swala Abdul Wahab, Pala.
The panel on GBC's Current Affairs program Focus on Thursday discussed the importance of private participation in the management of state-owned enterprises. The panelists, the Director General of State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, and a governance analyst, Dr. Eric Odro-Osai, were of the view that allowing individuals and private institutions to own shares in state-owned enterprises will allow for efficiency in the management of such enterprises. They say such partnerships most often allow for value for money.
Subscribe to the sale of that state institution or giving out majority of its shares to a private entity, or you subscribe to the school of thought that believe that the state must find ways of really sustaining these companies?
Well, let me start from the fundamental belief of my party, the new Patriotic Party.
Okay.
That's an interesting place to start. That's where we believe the private sector must take the center stage and develop businesses. But obviously, we also recognize that the state gets involved at some point, but not too much, so that you don't crowd the private sector out. When you take it from that point of view, then you begin to understand that you should allow private participation or individuals with capacity to come in. It helps with the capitalization, of course, the money to run it and to invest and look at the future.
Let's talk to Dr. Eric Odro-Osai, who is a lawyer, an economist, and a governance expert. Your take, what's really making it that difficult for state enterprises to really stay afloat, looking at the period that they've been set up?
When the business of government is not to do business. The business of government is to create the enabling environment for business to thrive. However, if there are government businesses that are expected to render services for the people to benefit, government may not be the repository of all knowledge. So the government may have to partner with other private sectors or with other individuals to enable government execute the business of government for the betterment of the people in the country.
The Ghana Police Hospital is to fumigate some of the hospital's departments from Friday, August 21 to Sunday, 23rd, 2020. This is part of a routine exercise. The hospital says the outpatients department, laboratory, children's department and the hospital annex will not be fumigated. The hospital will resume full operation on Monday, August 24, 2020. You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News. A mere allegation of witchcraft, even if without evidence, against especially poor old women is enough to get an entire community to ostracize the accused. These alleged witches are sent to shrines that are constituted in a way that they will automatically confirm that the accused is guilty. In this report, Abdul Hai Mumin visits the Kukuo witches camp and interacted with an 80-year-old alleged witch who has been abandoned by her community and children for 26 years now.
Weak, hungry, abandoned, neglected, sick, poor, and almost homeless. This has been the life of Hawabu in the last 26 years, since she was dumped here at this witches' camp after she was alleged of being a witch. In these parts of the country, all it takes for one to be accused of being a witch is for somebody to raise issues against you. These issues could range from having a dream and seeing that alleged witch in the dream doing something against people. We all have dreams, don't we? Beyond that, there are also the instances where persons who may be indebted to these women who are alleged to be witches later find themselves unable to pay off their debts. Then they accuse these women of being witches. Then there is the other aspect where people die and people look around for suspects, people who they believe may be responsible for the deaths of such persons, mostly without any evidence against these women. They accuse them of being witches. And after you are accused of being a witch, you are sent to a shrine which has no scientific basis of establishing your crime or otherwise, and yet you are asked to be isolated. And that's how come persons like Mahawabu here has been ostracized from the rest of society, and for the last 26 years she's been living in this dilapidated building, a building that leaks anytime it rains because it is made of thatch, and the building's foundation is being washed away gradually by rain. She hardly eats on a daily basis. As we speak, it's almost 3 p.m. and all that she has had is tea without milk. When she is lucky on a good day, her neighbors offer her some meals of beans that is not accompanied even with basic ingredients like gari. She is a mother to several children, yet since she's been abandoned here for the last 26 years, only one of her children has been here to visit her. And on that occasion, when that child visited, it wasn't to say hello to the mother, but to find out if she was living or dead. Now here is the bad news. The family has actually left their phone numbers that should she die, then they call to inform them of her death. We made an attempt to call her on the number she had left behind, yet as many times as we tried, the number was off. The number is 0240 0224. In addition to being neglected, many of the alleged witches, when they die, are not given befitting burials. They are literally thrown away, so to speak. Mahawabu here says her greatest wish is to have a home to live in before she passes on to her maker. She says one of her greatest desires is to see her children again, and more especially be able to hold her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren in her arms, a feeling she hasn't had ever since she was dumped here 26 years ago. She's calling on the larger society to come not only to her aid, but to the aid of the several innocent women who, through some dubious cultural practices, have ended up in camps like these, treated like non-entities.
Indeed, society owes women like this and the equivalents of the country better. In other stories, 17-year-old Emmanuel Akka has been diagnosed with a benign mandible swelling and needs 14,400 cedis for surgery to remove the lesion and undergo a jaw reconstruction. Emmanuel and his mother, Madame Mary Addison, are therefore appealing to the general public for financial assistance for the surgery.
Emmanuel is a welding trainee but was forced to quit his apprenticeship because of his condition, which started 3 years ago. His mother says he's unable to eat, drink or speak.
Within 2 weeks time, no almost a man for now, but no man, a man, yeah. Obey me a frame.
The family is appealing for 14,400 Ghana cedis to cover the cost of surgery, which includes the removal of the lesion and reconstruction to improve his facial profile.
Mr. Ghana for say, Omumbua Minister Binami and yes, I'm who match me.
You can support Emmanuel's surgery by donating to mobile money number 059 26 95586.
No donation will be deemed too small. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with the business segment. Please stay with us.
Better with the business news. Now, the state's interest and governance authority is to list some selected state-owned enterprises on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Although the Director General of the authority will not name the companies, Mr. Asamoah Boateng said a strategic document is to be presented to Cabinet in that regard. According to him, the move will allow efficiency while allowing Ghanaians to have a share of some government agencies.
Right now, what I'm doing is preparing a strategic document for Cabinet to look at and approve. And that strategic document will contain 3 key categorization of the government entities. The first category will be those that the government must hold 100%, whatever they do, 100%. And we must have reasons to back why government wants to hold on to that. That argument will be put together for that. Entities to be classified as such. The second categorization is those that we need private sector participation, either through management contracts or even selling or diluting some government shares so that somebody or another group of business can buy in and help us to recapitalize it and bring management expertise. The other category will be those that needs to be completely clean off and divested. And of course, when we talk about divestment or selling off, most people think it's the worst performing businesses. Yes, to some extent, if they are not performing and for any reason they are not having the work ethics of a business minded, then you may have to just sell it off and let the private sector run it as they should. But I'm looking at it from another angle too. And we think that through state entities, government must be able to empower Ghanaians to own some part of shares of businesses. That would bring some discipline. The Ghanaians will check it in themselves and also create money for Ghanaians naturally. So we're looking at some of them who are not just not performing, but they are performing. But we believe that we should create wealth in the system. And that is going to happen. Some of I won't name them now because I'm here to present it to Cabinet, so permit me to hold them onto them now. But once it's ready, we'll share it with you so that people will begin to prepare and keep and save money and then buy into the stock market. We've already met the stock exchange officers here, and they are eager, waiting for when we can name them and they can prepare them for sale.
The National Executive Council of the GPRTU has with immediate effect dissolved the current National Executive Committee chaired by Mr. Kwame Kuma. The National Executive Council, the second highest decision-making body of the union, has thus appointed an interim management committee chaired by Bono Afo Regional Chairman Mr. Ben Kusi. The next says Mr. Kwame Kuma's term of office has expired.
This has never happened, that a sitting chairman will be in office for the period of 5 years. It has never ever happened unless the tenure of our current chairman, Mr. Kwame Kuma. All that we are saying is that we voted for Kwame Kuma for the past that was the past 5 years. That was 2015, okay, September 2015, and we were expecting that at 2019 September we were supposed to go to Congress. All right, a date was fixed, a venue was fixed. That is what when we were about to go to Boliga. All right, after that, they brought a Congress fee. We paid, all the branches paid the Congress fee, and then we also made a arrangement for vehicles, flights, hotels, and other things. Before we realized, we were informed that some people, our court injunction has been placed on the elections, and that we can't go for the Congress again. All right, we were agitated, and what we decided on that we can't just do anything to destroy our union. So we took it like that. Then they fixed another time that we were supposed to go to Kumasi. A date came that by 24th, that is next week, we are supposed to go to Kumasi for our Congress. We were waiting for the Secretariat to give us letters. But all that we heard was that National, being headed by headed by Mr. Kwame Kuma, says that he's not going to allow the Congress to come on. That is coming 24th. And all that we are saying is the Congress must come on.
3 separate meetings chaired by the Secretary General of TUC, the NEC had chosen Upper East for the 10th Quadrennial Business Conference, and the national chairman rejected the decision of the NEC and changed the venue to Kumasi through a conspired court action, with only one branch in Takoradi and still remains in office with impunity.
Though yet to swing into action, into a free trade area to enable its members in the banking sector to provide the needed financial lifeline to bolster intra-African trade.
Banks might be willing then to support jobs that are related in the trade, in the intercontinental trade. As unions, our interest first and foremost is to ensure that it's a decent, trade that is coming. It's a trade that will respect the ILO conditions of decent work, and then beyond that, when workers find job is where the union finds its existence, and by extension, we are going to have some additional membership into new areas where ordinarily those employers will not be having the facility that will enable them to expand. So we see expansion of businesses coming by this intercontinental trade.
Trade among the African states is the lowest in the world on a regional basis. The current level of trade is as low as 15% compared with that of Europe, which is about 70%. The IC is habit that a surge in trade among African countries will lead to a bullish market for member states, including Ghana, signaling a possible turnaround for workers in the existing industries and those that will spring up later on.
This is opening door for some multinational company to move from one West African state to another. It is to our own benefit. It means that Ghanaians will not have the restrictions from saying that if I go to Cote d'Ivoire, I go to Nigeria, I go to Benin or Sierra Leone, I might not be able to find job. It's rather an open and added opportunity for us where the comparative advantage of the employer, takes the fall. Where we say comparative advantage, we are referring to things that they can commonly access with reasonable, cost than maybe coming over to come and do the business here in Ghana.
The kickoff.
So that story has to do with the fact that the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union says it will support the African Free Trade Area Agreement to bolster trade from the current 15% to 50% within the next 5 years. Now, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has urged private sector players to leverage on government initiatives such as the One District, One Factory to explore the opportunities presented in the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Though yet to swing into action, the Industrial Commercial Workers Union is lacing its boots to jump into the tracks of the African Continental Free Trade Area to enable its members in the banking sector to provide the needed financial lifeline to bolster intra-African trade.
Banks might be willing then to support jobs that are related in the intercontinental trade.
Originally scheduled to take off in July 2020, the African Continental Free Trade Area will now be operationalized in January 2021. The ambitious free trade deal will help increase intra-regional trade, enhance production, promote economies of scale, create jobs, and improve the standard of living across the continent. Local businesses will have to industrialize and increase their productive capacities to enable them become competitive on the continent-wide market. The president of Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nana Appiah Dankoboso, wants local players to leverage on government's industrialization drive to expand and explore the 1.2 billion population market.
It's all about trade and investments. And for that matter, Ghanaians must position ourselves well to take advantage of it. We need to build our various capacities and to take advantage. If you are going for industrialization and you don't give long-term loans and don't give moratorium, it becomes very difficult. And you can have people willing to do it, but they can't do it because they don't have the fund. The funding here is very huge, and it needs to be given to people who are ready.
Made a remark when officials from the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry paid a working visit to automobile company Zondatech Ghana in Tema. The formalization tour was to assess the company's operations at the branch, which has registered under the One District, One Factory initiative. The chief executive of the automaker, Madame Yang, thanked the chamber for the visit, reiterating her company's interest in training and providing jobs to more youth in the country.
Go to the interbank market and get latest on how the local currency is performing.